Cobus. All right, good afternoon. This is Simon Casades, team lead broker of KW South Bay. Thank you again for jumping on the contract class every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Let me go ahead and share my computer. And they changed it up on me a little bit. All right, let's try again. Everyone on Zoom, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today's topic talks about the new standard in advertisements, the do's and don'ts, and how to promote yourself, and what the Department of Real Estate sees as a red flag when it comes to your business cards, stationery cards, newsletters, any type of advertisement, also including your open house signs and for sale signs as well. So we're going to dive deep into this conversation. Anything and everything that I talk about is straight from the CAR legal tools and platforms that they provide us for a better understanding of how to navigate real estate transactions. So what California realtors need to know. So let's go ahead and dive deep into this. All right. So what is that we're going to be covering? Okay. We're going to be covering the changes to business advertising practices. What changes and when, types of advertising, affecting exceptions, samples, and then special scenarios we'll dive deep into. All right, under the regulation AB 1650, here's some content that I want you to understand. Make significant changes that regard real estate agents and realtors in general, the avenue and how to conduct yourself when it comes to the marketing aspect. What needs to be on the content of a flyer, business cards, or anything that you're promoting yourself as a real estate agent. Okay. It expands what most be included in a real estate related advertisement material. Okay. And it can be anything from water bottles. Okay. Have you seen individuals at open house that they'll put their own personal brand on their water bottles, right? Saying it's their name, their company, their license number, stuff of that nature. Pins as well. We see a lot of pins get some type of marketing. So we're going to dive into that as well. Create a uniform advertisement standard across a variety of media and any types. Okay. And that also goes into platforms such as social media as well. Back in 2018, advertising standards. Soliciting materials must include, okay, your 8-digit DRE license number and responsible broker's name. Okay, I want to be very clear that the responsible broker is not Simon. You're not going to put Simon. You're going to put the brokerage. Okay, Keller Williams South Bay. Okay, Keller Williams PB, or any Keller Williams that you are part of. So
the license number is yours.
The license, and we're going to dive into it. Yes, your license number. Okay. We're going to also talk about, because I get this quite often, do we also need to put the brokerage ID? Okay. That's later on the presentation. The answer is optional. You don't have to, as long as you have your DRE license number, then you're perfectly fine. Remember, everything is about being in compliance, right? And that goes and applies to agents and broker associates as well. That includes everyone. All right, so let me go here. So that it goes with agents and broker associates. Broker license number is optional. So for example, the Keller Williams office DRE number is, 01853545, something like that, right? You don't have to put that license, but you have to put your DRE license number. Now, the status goes with if you're a realtor or if you're an agent, okay? When can you consider yourself a realtor? When you're a member of the California and the National Association of Realtors, you're allowed to put your designation or your trademark as a realtor, okay? When the name of the company does not make clear that the advertisement is by a licensee, then the status is legally required, okay? And we're going to dive into this conversation a little bit more so you get an understanding, right? And the ins and outs of what it is that you need to compliance. Because at the very end, the people that ultimately turn you in is your own real estate agents, okay? And that's what we're trying to avoid. We don't want to get a letter from the Department of Real Estate stating that you are not in compliance with the rules and regulations of what they have implemented. Now, we're going to dive into the type of advertisement that affects you as a real estate professional. Business cards, stationaries, advertising flyers, television, print or electronic media advertising, for sale, open house, lease rental, or directional signs when any license identification information is included. Any other materials designated to solicit the creation of a professional relationship between license and the consumer. So anything that you are doing that involves the consumer, you must include the name of the company and your license number. Now, if I'm having a conversation with my family, immediate family, right? Your immediate family, right? Then no, you know, this is just for your personal, then no, you don't have to put any type of information. If you're just kind of doing it as an example to kind of showcase a role play, but as soon as it gets distributed, syndicated out to the public, then you must follow these rules. So here are the basics that you must understand under the DRE. The basic advertisement rules. The responsible broker identity is required whenever an agent creates a first point of contact and advertisement. Anything that we do to promote ourselves as a real estate agent, okay, must have something that identifies your brokerage or yourself as a license by the state of California. For example, how many times have you seen name badges? Okay, I'm looking at one right now. It may not have his license number, but it tells me that he is a KW agent, a Keller Williams agent. That complies with his duties as a licensee to comply with the Department of Real Estate, the California Association of Realtors. So here's an example of a business card, okay? Now it says your company logo type, right? Correct, includes the responsible broker entity. It also says the name is correct, includes realtor or agent. When the name of the company does not make clear that the advertisement is by license, then the status is legally required. What's incorrect does not include an agent license number. The license number needs to be included, and its font should be no smaller than the smallest font on the business card. Most companies that do advertisement, they follow and they understand the protocol when it comes to the Department of Real Estate and also the California Association of Realtors request when it comes to fonts. If it's too small, if someone wants to file a complaint, you know, they're going to tag you, these business cards are not comply with the rules and regulations. The bigger, obviously, the better, because what are we trying to do? We're public servants at the end of the day. We are licensed to conduct business in the state of California and to provide services rendering a commission, compensation, right? With that, you have to understand any type of material, marketing material that you provide has to reflect the name, the license number, just like any other thing. A contractor is an example. Have you ever worked with a general contractor, electrician, a plumber, a roofer, landscaping companies, right? If they're a legitimate company and they are in compliance with the state of California, then they're gonna have their business card, their company campaign with their information, including their license number, okay? So it's no difference than what we do as a real estate agent, okay? So I see, I'm just looking at this, Christine. So in this, so is this complies, if not a person's name? Is it, well, it does because it has KW South Bay. Okay, so it does comply with the compliance of you being in compliance with the Department of Real Estate. Because immediately the consumer can type in KW South Bay and it's going to direct them to some type of website that will identify us as a real estate company. Now, if you did not have this information, the KW South Bay, and it only said open house or live-in, then this particular open house directional would be out of compliance. Now, I just want to be very clear and concise in my position here because there's a lot of marketing directional open houses that just say open house in a direction, right? So you got to kind of look at it from the pros and cons to it, all right? And it's really common sense. If you have directionals leading to the house, right? Somehow, some way, it's going to lead you to that individual agent and that individual's listing, right? There, you're going to be able to say, I'm in compliance. Just because the directional doesn't have any information such as the company name, the agent's name, the license number, does that mean you're out of compliance? Well, in the eyes of the Department of Real Estate and the California Association of Realtors, I hate to say it, but you are out of compliance. But who is going to really file a complaint against you because they saw a directional going left and another directional going right? When you see the property, right, mostly the agent is going to have a name badge, business card, a flyer with the name of the company, the agent's name, and the license number as well, right? So I think you're okay. It's a gray area, but when it comes to the marketing, what they're saying is it has to be in alignment with everything that you do, including your signs have to have the name of the company, the license number, and your name as a real estate agent or realtor in place. I hope that kind of answers your question, Christine. All right, let's continue. All right, you want to keep in mind that the new law applies to the general rule of disclosing a licensed status, right? Broker, broker associate, agent, or realtor in all of your advertisement, right? So if you're licensed to conduct real estate and be compensated for services rendered, then, you know, you want to showcase that, right? You're not going to say you're anything different than a real estate agent, right? You want to indicate that you're a realtor, real estate agent, real estate professional, real estate advisor, real estate consultant, right? Something to that nature. But with the National Association, the National Association of Realtors, NAR Code of Ethics Standard of Practice under Section 12-5, any advertisement of real estate services or listed property in any medium must disclose the name of the firm in a reasonable and readable apparent way. So basically, it needs to be able to, if I'm driving, if I'm walking, or if you're telling me where this open house is, I have to know and disclose that it is a real estate agent. How many times have you come across a situation where it's a for sale by owner, right? And it says FSBO. Now, they're not licensed, right? And the reason they're not using a real estate agent is why? Because they don't want to pay a commission, right? So are they out of compliance when they're trying to sell their own house and have directionals that just say left, right, open house? Is it out of compliance that the homeowner has their own flyer with pictures, descriptions, and price? No, because they don't fall under the rules and regulations of the Department of Real Estate, DRE, CAR, and NAR, the National Association of Realtors. Okay, so I want to be crystal clear that it only boils down to us as licensees licensed in the state or any other state. Because this also goes to the state of Arizona, the state of Nevada, the state of Oregon, the state of Colorado, and all 50 states as well, right? Because the National Association of Realtors falls into every agent that is licensed in the US. Make sense? Okay. Now, when it comes to the responsible broker entity, right? The responsible broker entity is the name under which the broker is currently licensed and conducts business in a general or in a division of the real estate firm. The responsible broker license number is optional. Okay, so I want to be very crystal clear on this, right? You're conducting an open house, right? This is your listing. You have your marketing in place. You have your directionals in place. You have your for sale sign in place. You have your business cards in place and anything that you're showcasing the property, right? Under this regulation, what it's indicating is that you must put the name of the brokerage. Okay, Keller Williams South Bay, KW South Bay, whatever that looks like, right? Because we have different divisions and DBAs under the DRE. What it says is that you do not have to put the license number of the corporation. Most big firms, such as KW South Bay, has a corporation license, and that license authorizes on behalf to run a real estate company and have real estate sales associates and broker associates attached to that corporate license. That corporate license is licensed by the Department of Real Estate, just like you are licensed by the Department of Real Estate, but you cannot conduct real estate activity until your license is hung with a real estate firm. Now, if you're a broker, then that changes the trajectory of this conversation. Okay, but if you are a broker associate and you are relying on your brokerage, then you fall under the brokerage as a broker associate, not as the broker of record or broker of your own real estate company. Okay, so the license number is optional when you're advertising, marketing yourself. As long as it has the name of the company, your license number, you are golden. You're okay. You're in compliance. All right, so exceptions. For sale signs, open house signs, for rent signs, for lease signs, directional signs, okay, but only when the responsible broker ID appears, license number is optional, and there is no reference on the sign to an associate broker or sales agent. The broker signs exceptions, or there is no license identification information at all, okay? The generic sign exemption, okay? So here's the pros and cons, and here's my way of seeing things, you know, because I don't believe, all right, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I'm also going to kind of the black and white of compliance, right? The black and white, and then what I call the spirit of compliance, meaning that it's not necessarily all that it is with the Department of Real Estate. I doubt, okay, and this is just my opinion, I doubt that the DRE will flag you because of one directional that doesn't have, and it's a very generic one. Because as I said earlier, if your directions lead to you where the sign does have Keller Williams, your license number, then you're in compliance. I would argue the fact, listen, I put in 15 signs out there, and 14 out of those 15 signs fall under the compliance. I just wanted to put one more sign out there. I think you're going to be okay. Okay. That's the spirit of compliance. Now, the black and white would be is, yeah, you're basically out of compliance, right? You're out of compliance because of that generic one. So you got to choose your battles. Again, you want to be uniform and you want to be in agreement to the real estate firm, then make sure that all of your signs are in compliance and that you avoid any problems whatsoever. Because as I said earlier, right, in my discussion earlier, was who's going to be the one complaining? Going to be your competitors usually, right? It's very rare, far and few, that a consumer will file a complaint. They don't know any better, but real estate agents do. They're the ones that will probably point the finger, call, and complain. Any questions so far? Exceptions. Okay, so I think we talked about that. All right, examples of basic signs without exceptions. This is correct. Includes responsible broker ID or entity, right? If it has Keller Williams. It also is correct, includes the license number of the agent. The font is as large as other print on the ad. So if you look at this example, right? Any brokerage, open house, Jane agent, the phone number, and then just below it has the license number, the DRE, okay? That is your license number, okay? If you want to put the brokerage as second layer, then you're more than welcome to do so. It's not required, it's not really recommended, because the name of the brokerage on the top is already going to identify you already, okay? It's already going to identify you already. Okay. 1 second. Any questions? Okay. Example of broker sign exceptions. Okay. Again, here's a directional sign that says any brokerage, real estate services, open house. Okay. But it doesn't have the license number on here. But what it does have, it has the name of the brokerages. It also identifies that this name is also a real estate company, right? It does real estate services. Also says that it's an open house. So it gives you a lot of indicators that say, 1 second. That it is a open house being conducted by a licensed agent.
That's correct.
Yeah, this is perfectly fine. As long as it says KW, okay? And sometimes the indicators are very simple, right? Because when you see a red and black sign, it already indicates it's probably a Keller Williams. If you see like a blue, then it's probably, or a balloon or stuff of that nature, it's probably your competitor brokerages out there.
So if we have a bunch of signs that do not have Keller Williams, you can add them.
Yeah, you can take it to anyone that does open house, and you can recreate and format all this stuff to be in compliance. Let's say you got donated some old generic open house signs, but you want to brand them. A lot of the companies out there will definitely help you put the KW brand, the color, and all that good stuff. Okay. Example of broker sign exceptions. Okay. If you look at the sign, open Sunday 1 to 4, open house, agent, phone number, any brokerage. What it says here that it is correct, includes the responsible broker. Incorrect, since the agent is referenced, the sign must include the license number of the agent. So the difference between one and the other is this. If your name is going to be on any marketing, you must include your license number. That's a given. Your name, license number. No name, no need to put a license number. But the brokerage, right? You don't, and the question that I've had in the past is, well, if it doesn't have the name of the agent, the phone number of the agent, it's just a generic directional, but it does say Keller Williams. Does that mean that you have to put the corporate license number on there? The answer is no, you do not have to. Okay, because if you already indicate that's KW, Keller Williams, Realty, South Bay, or Keller Williams, somehow that identifies your brokerage, then you should be okay. Now, with that being said, I've seen it many times where an agent will just put a general name of Keller Williams. Just Keller Williams. We know it's a real estate company, right? But we don't know what company he or she worked. So that may be out of compliance. Because we need to know who this agent is affiliated with, right? And that goes back to, again, the spirit of the compliance and the black and white of compliance, right? Black and white will indicate to me, well, this individual agent is out of compliance, therefore this is incorrect in how they're marketing their information. But in this one, it's very clear as, yeah, you know what, it has the responsible broker name, which is Keller Williams. Okay, so again, looking at it from two different perspectives and different scenarios and samples. Yes, Jim.
So if you have a bunch of signs that don't have anything, you could get one of your cards, have it amplified, and then paste it onto the sign.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of these marketing companies, they have the equipment and they can take old, say, from your previous brokerage, right? Let's just say that you were in a different company. They can rebrand all that and put a label that covers everything. And now it shows Keller Williams. Even these generic for sale signs, if you wanted to brand them, the companies out there now have the equipment to actually put all of that information, which will be a lot cheaper than buying the actual for sale sign or the directional sign as well. Now, when it comes to business cards, you know, business cards are not that expensive, right? You can do 1,000, 5,000 for under $150. So I wouldn't worry too much. But again, when it comes to your business card, your photo, the company name, your license number, as long as you have your name and phone number, and you need to be in compliance, then your license number must be included. An example of a generic sign, generic for sale signs. Incorrect, although a totally generic for sale sign, it's legally permitted under California law. It isn't under the NAR Code of Ethics. So, you know, this is what I'm saying, the spirit of the compliance in the black and white. The NAR obviously says otherwise, that no, you're not in compliance, okay? And if someone wanted to, you know, file a complaint because of your generic signs, they can't, because this doesn't say you're a licensed real estate, and it doesn't look well either, right? Conduct yourself as a professional, in my opinion, right? You conduct yourself as a professional with the branding yourself, that's gonna take you in a different level, right, than a generic. If I see a generic and you're the licensed agent, it's gonna question me. Yeah, you know, what are they really, you know, putting into their marketing, right? I'm just saying. Now, a lot of agents would say, well, Simon, I have to disagree with you. You know, it's just a for sale sign. It's just a directional sign. I get it. But to the consumer, branding can be vital for them choosing you from your competitor. Okay, so I'm just suggesting. I hope this kind of makes sense. Example of a generic sign. I think this is the same thing, right? Yeah. Why isn't this not? Wait a minute. Oh, that's why I'm pushing the wrong one. I was like, why is this getting bigger? All right, special challenges for social media. All right, social media. Electronic media advertisement, including social media is your tweet, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Pinterest, your Snapchat, post of any designs to solicit the creation of a professional relationship. If the answer is yes, you must include room for your license number, broker name, and your status in the post. These common type posts would be incorrect as they are missing the required disclosures, right? If you look at the two samples, right? Incorrect does not include the responsible broker or the name, agent's license number. So if you look at the example on the left side, it says new call the number today for your personal tour, real estate realtor, Los Angeles, Jane Doe Realtor, right? This is out of compliance, and therefore this would be not considered within the compliance of the Department of Real Estate and also the Department of Real Estate and the California Association of Realtors. Dolph, 1 second. I see your message here. Give me 1 second. Let me just finish up with this one. The one on the right is also incorrect because it does not include the responsible broker name or the agent license number. Beautiful home, 2,500 square feet. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 55 Real Estate Lane, Los Angeles, California, and then the zip code. Viewed by Realtor Listing Now, right? Again, this would be out of compliance because one, it doesn't have your real estate company, nor does it have your real estate ID number. Okay. Question, sir.
Thank you, Simon. The question is about when you have, like, for example, now I'm doing open houses for another brokerage, another agent. What is the right way of doing Instagram posts, like a reel or a story? Should we have our Keller Williams Coastal mention in it, or should we refer to the other brokerage information and the listing agent information?
Very good question. So to answer your question, in this instant, you're going to promote yourself as the agent that's conducting the open house, right? Let's say that
Correct.
your open house is not your listing, right? You're
That
facilitating
is correct.
for another brokerage, and let's just say it's ABC Realty as an example, right? But you're posting it, right? You're posting it that you're going to be facilitating and hosting this open house this Saturday or Sunday from 1 to 4, right? And then you want to put it on social media. As long as it has your license number or something that says Keller Williams or your DRE license, then you would be considered within compliance. Even though this is not your listing, you can still conduct it. Obviously, you don't want to showcase that this is your listing. There has to be something in there that says that this information is provided by the MLS, or you have permission from the listing agent to promote someone else's listing. Okay. It is a little bit of a gray
In the post, in the text, I should put it in the real text, like like that you have a text in like a description basically of your reel. This is has to be in that text. Is that what you are telling me, Simon?
No, what I'm saying is, if you look at these two examples, right, on Twitter and Facebook as an example, the information is on there that says that this agent here, right, is doing some type of marketing. What I'm saying here, these two are out of compliance because one, it doesn't show who the real estate company that individual agent works for. Secondly, there's no license number that says that this agent is a real estate professional, right? It only says they're real estate, but it doesn't say what company and what their license number. What I'm saying here, in order for you to be in compliance off, you have to have something that shows on this marketing campaign that you're licensed DRE and Keller Williams. Even though this is not your listing, you still got to promote it as you are a licensed agent. Has nothing to do with the
with my
marketing,
DRE and my brokerage.
That is correct. It has to include your license number and Keller Williams in this campaign.
Even though I said in my bio that I am licensed and I have the DRE and I am with Keller Williams, I still have to put it in the description of the reel, correct?
That is correct. Yep, that's the
okay, got it.
That's the compliance way. That's the correct way of doing it. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Simon.
My pleasure, of course. All right, so this is more directed for rules of mortgage originators and brokers, but I'll go through it. The DRE licensed brokerage, mortgage brokers must include license status by use of terms broker, agent, or their abbreviations. The entity in which the loan transaction is being arranged, real estate broker, California Department of Real Estate, or the California Department of Real estate brokers. If the mortgage broker also is a mortgage originator, then the unique identifier assigned to the license by the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System, better known as the NMLS, must be included on a solicitation material. So if you have a license to conduct real estate mortgages or origination mortgages, then you must disclose that to the consumer anytime you're doing any type of marketing, right? And there's a lot of real estate agents and real estate companies that allow dual licensings, meaning you can be a real estate agent and you can still originate loans as well, right? I don't recommend it. It's too much. It can be a conflict of interest, but by the Department of Real Estate, it is allowed to be able to do the loan and also represent them on the purchase or sale of their home as well. Okay. Again, you got to be very careful because there is sometimes a conflict of interest, and that could put you in a very difficult bind if this goes sideways, right? So you just got to be very, very careful. And then the rules and regulations basically apply the same. All right, just to summarize everything, the new standard in advertisement goes into effect of 2018. Your name, your 8-digit DRE number, and responsible broker must be included in all solicitations. Applies to business cards, stationery flyers, TV prints, or any electronic media advertisement. Applies to signs when license information is included. Any other material designed to solicit a professional relationship between license and the consumer. Additional resources, you can go through the California Association of Realtors, and you'll be able to get the new standard in advertising, this presentation, Q&A, questions and answers in regards to your specifics. You can always call, the legal hotline as well, right? And call the attorneys that working for you. They'll be able to answer any and all your questions that you have regarding what is that you need to be in compliance. But most of the stuff you can direct them to the broker or your team leader, and they should be able to assist you with that. All right, so that pretty much concludes our presentation. I know, Kim, can I only put Keller Williams logo instead of a KW Coastal Property? Specific logos, do I need to put each office as independently owned and operated as a sign and business card? Okay, very good question, Kim, and thank you so much for bringing it to my attention. So you can just put Keller Williams as long as your license number is there as an indicator, because if anyone wants to reference, identify what brokerage you work, that license number, which is public record, will be able to go to the Department of Real Estate, right? So if I was to go, for example, I'm a consumer, right? And I want to go and investigate a specific agent, I would go to the DRE, then I would go down here and basically go here to verify license number. Then I would go here, I would put in someone's ID, and then here, then I would be able to know what information is. Okay, so this guy, Simon, is licensed. He is a broker. He's been licensed since the 90s. This is all the affiliation corporations that he has. Here's the salespersons and, the formers and all that fun stuff, right? So as long as it has your license number on any marketing that you just want to keep it very neutral, whereas Keller Williams, it's not very specific, right? Meaning it doesn't say KW South Bay or KW Coastal. As long as you have your license number on there, then you're perfectly in compliance. I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
What about the second part, please?
Okay, so the second part, I need to, okay, what was that? Do I need to put each office as, yes. So because every office is independently owned and operated, you must put a disclaimer that indicates that each office is independently owned and operated. So to answer your question, Kim, yes,
Okay, thank you so much.
my pleasure. Any other questions before we close out the class? Yes, sir.
I do have, I do purchase some open house signs,
Mhm.
and I was reading and it doesn't say Southwick, only Keller Williams Realty.
Mhm.
Do I need to have them corrected?
I'm sorry, Salvador, what was your question again?
I do have open house sign from, it says Keller Williams Realty. It doesn't say Southwick. It's just generic Keller Williams.
But does it have your license number?
No, it's just a open.
Okay,
To have them corrected.
Yes.
yeah, so that would be considered not in compliance.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have the specific name, because even though it says Keller Williams, but it has to identify like, okay, there's thousands of Keller Williams, right? It needs to identify, so I would include your license number to be in compliance.
And to do that quickly, you can attach your card professional player on.
No, not a business card on a directional or an open house. It's too small, Jim. You need something that's going to be able to be seen by the consumer. No one is going to go and say, oh, wait, is this a business card?
Okay.
No, it has to
It has to be big enough so they can read from the street.
pretty much.